Hello guys, I'm Tony, this is Gable, and this is the Arcade Woodshop. Welcome back to part 2 of the ice cold beer tip build. Okay, we've got 6 of the sides cut, since I'm building 3 cabinets. Well, Gable, I'm going to tell them. And this is pretty straightforward. Okay, I'll tell them. Everybody, I'm sorry. In this last video, part 1, I lied and misled people. We will not be doing the grooves in the side of the cabinet today. Gabriel pointed out I did not follow procedure, and we have to build the bases because we got to have something for the cabinets to set on. So it's my fault, and I truly apologize. Are you happy with that? Can't believe you made me do that. I'm telling Mom when we get home. Okay, let's start with the base. I don't care which company you talk about, whether it's Taito or Nintendo or any other arcade company, all the cabinets have two things in common. Bases, and all of the bases are very poorly designed. This is an original ice cold beer base. Now, it's built out of particle board, and it has a vinyl stuck to it, which is really crappy. This one has swelled up really bad. These levelers are not original to this game. Somebody added these, so we won't be putting those back. The carcass is assembled with a half lap joint, and since we're doing an original, this is the way we have to do it. So I'm going to show you how to make this cut and assemble this base. So first of all, we need to measure the width, and it's 4 inches. Now, I already know that because I've done it before. But then we'll have to get the length of the front, and it's 22 and a half. Then the sides. $18 3/4. Now, give me just a second, and I'll go ahead and rip some stock down, and we'll get started on how to make that joint. Okay, now that I've got the stock ripped to 4 inches wide, we need to take it and put it on the sled or the table saw, or miter saw, however you want to cut its length. And we need to make our measurements. And this one is 22 and a half inches long. And I'm just setting a stop block so I can make sure both of them are exactly the same. Check and make sure it's square, and it's square. My stop block down. Change my measurement. $18 3/4. And that's how I cut them to length. Now I use this piece right here, this jig, which is called a table saw sled. You don't absolutely have to have this, but I made this so I can make sure that all of my cuts are perfectly square. That's very important, that your edges be perfectly square. And I also use this for how to assemble or make the joints cuts for this base. But you don't have to use this. You can just use a table saw or a router table to do this. So now we want to set this up to make the dado cut. And this is a lap dado. And it's really, really important that you get it right. So let me check the measurements again. Okay. What you want to do is to lower your saw blade to where it's just barely coming through the sled or the table saw. Take your longest piece line it up on your edge and make a pass. And what that does is remove just a little portion of the material. Now we need to take this on down. Let me check the measurement on it. That's what I figured, a half an inch. So we need to cut it back to where it's a half an inch. I want my saw blade to come up to that mark. So we'll adjust the saw blade until it gets to that point. Make a few more passes. Alright, now we've reached the depth that we wanted to apply. Now, since this is set up to the edge of this line, all we have to do is take a piece of the material and place it here. Because that's going to be the width of what we want to cut. So holding this up against the back of the sled, we just readjust the clamp, lock it into place, and that gives us the width that we want to cut. Let's spin it around, do it on both sides. Then we can take this piece loose and just cut away our weight because we don't need it. when you're done, you should have this. And that's what creates a lapping butt joint. Now your other piece will fit into that, and it should be smooth and flush on the edges. Just like so. Now the only problem with doing the lapping butt joint is you have an unfinished edge there, but that's the way it was from the factory, and you'll need to paint that. So let me go ahead and cut the rest of these out, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, now that we got the parts cut, and you can see we have the lapping butt joint, but you can see that the edge is unfinished. Now that will be on the side, so it doesn't really show, but it's just what I don't like. So now we got to go, that we've got the box assembled. It's not been glued or anything. We got to go back and cut some blocks. We're going to use the maple blocks, and they will be placed in the corners. This one's not quite as long. It'll be about like this, where we'll have to drill holes for the screws, and we'll put those in all four corners of the cabinet, and then we'll make some blocks to go on the edge toward attached to the bottom of the cabinet. So hang around, and I'll go ahead and start cutting the wood and let you see how we do that. Okay, now that I've got the strips cut into 3/4 inch lengths, it's 3/4 by 3/4. I use maple. You can use pine or poplar or whatever makes you happy. I like maple because it's a little more sturdy. But we'll just set our stop gauge up here, and we'll set these to cut 4 inches. We'll go a little under 4 inches, because our sides are 4 inches tall. Okay, those will make our corner blocks, 4 of them. 4 inches by 3/4 by 3/4. Now, since I've assembled the frame, we need to make the blocks to go in the top. This will be for attaching the base to the bottom of the cabinet. So we'll need to cut some more strips. So these will need to be, let's say, 18 inches by 16 inches. So we'll do it the same way we did those blocks. We just have to set it up a little different. We'll set this up to 16 inches. We'll cut 2 of these. Paint to fit up, 18 inches. And we'll cut 2 more. That's how we cut our blocks. 18-inch, our 16-inch, and our 4 quarter blocks. Now, you could take these and glue them, put glue on them, and just place them in the corners and staple them in place like the factory, or you can drill holes in them and put your screws in them. We're going to do that. We're going to put the screws in them. So let me get the table, the drill press set up, and I'll show you how to do that process, and then we'll assemble the base. Now, since the factory just glued these in and shot nails and staples in them, we're going to put screws in them. So I've randomly marked each one equally, and I'm going to just drill the holes in it, and this will be for the bit to go in. Drill press, we're going to change the bit and put a larger bit in. This will be so the head of the screw will fit down inside of this. Now, that hole, recessed hole, is called a countersink. And that will be what receives the head of the bolt, so the screw, so it doesn't stick up past the wood. So let me drill these out, and then we'll get back to the assembly. Thank you. All right, now that we've got all of our blocks cut and drilled, we can put those to the side and address the issue of the unfinished edge. So what you want to do is lay your pieces down on the table on a scrap piece of material. Take another scrap piece of material and place it on that dado. Take your black spray paint and just paint the edge. But make sure you turn it upside down before you do, because you don't want to get paint on the outside that's going to show. Now, I wish there was a better way to do that, but unfortunately there is not, and that gives a pretty good result. Now you no longer have that bare edge. So we can discard this piece. Don't need it anymore. Don't need that anymore. Now we need to take and get our glue. And this is melamine glue that is made specifically for melamine. Since this stuff has a plastic finish and the glue doesn't want to stick to it. So you put your glue in there, really good, on both sides. I always like to use these little brushes that you can get at Harbor Freight for like $3 for a whole bag of them. And try to spread the glue out really good. Make sure you've got enough glue on there that it fully covers. You actually want more glue than what you need. That way you know you've got enough glue to cover everything. Brush down both sides. And we're almost done. You don't have to worry if you get a little glue on it. On the back side of it, it's not going to be important anyway. Then you take your sides, lay them out on your table, your front and your back, put your sides in, the little grooves. Just like so. Put your clamps on, and I like to use little blocks on the ends because I don't want the wood, the clamps to mar into the wood. Kind of hate to mess up the project before you finish it. So I put 4 little blocks of wood on each corner. Take your clamp. Clamp it down. Then you take your square, put it on the inside and make sure everything's square. Dadgum, that's square. If it's not exactly square, you can always twist it a little bit either way to square it up. But that one turned out pretty good. So now we're going to take our blocks that we made for the corners, the 4-inch blocks, put a little glue on them. Use the same little brush, I'll get another one. Spread the glue out really good. Place it in with the big holes on the outside, just like so. Let me turn the air on. And if you've got a nail gun, this is how the factory done it. They nailed it together. Take your blocks, lay them out to where they go, so you can easily get them. Take you some glue. Get your edges flush and nail it in place. Alright guys, that's how the cabinet base is made. I go back and clean off the excess glue. But it just takes a matter of a little bit of time, and it's pretty simple. If you have any questions, be sure to hit me up. Don't mind answering questions. But this can be used on any cabinet. The only problem is it's not designed for levers. Now I'm going to go back and put some screws in it, and then I'll throw this in the scrap bin because this is not the way I'm building the ones I'm doing. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and this is how to make the original base. Have a good day. What do you think? You like that? What? I didn't tell them how to put the screws in. Think I should show that? Sure they know. Okay, let's show them how to put the screws in right fast. You take a drill, put the bit on the screw on the bit, run it into the hole, just like this. Where you going, Gable? You're supposed to be helping. Oh, you're a supervisor. I see. You just tell me what to do. But I know they knew how to do that. Okay, you have to be a little more helpful in the next video.